Wow. I mean, what a season. As a Villa fan, what a season it truly has been. It really has been what we call a roller coaster ride and journey this season for Villa fans. And in the end, I'd say surreal. I'm going back to how we started. Was it around about 4 to 5 games? I'm focusing on the league games. You know, we didn't score a single goal. I think we only had 1 or 2 points on the board. The football was flat. The squad looked deflated. There was no energy, lack of confidence. I mean, as Ali has said, it looked like he was playing blindfolded. And we just didn't look like scoring. So to have such a start, coming in on the highs of having Emery in charge, that energy we had, and then witnessing that for a start, you just think the dreams, the belief, the hope, the aspirations, where is it all going? And then, you know, jumping onto that kind of winterish or autumn winterish period. Was it round about like late September, October, where we started to pick up wins? We got to win some games consecutively. And then we just started to they started to call us outside of the box FC, scoring some blinders. And then it was like, whoa, what a turnaround. We're title contenders all of a sudden. You know, we weren't far off at that stage. And I think in that period, in the winter period, the only games we lost from memory, from what I can remember, was Liverpool away. Again, a ground that we just don't ever get any points from. And the Arsenal game away. But other than that, relatively, our winter period was pretty good, and it got us in that, I'm sure it got us in that top 4 bracket. And then the Villa way. What happens come the new year? The news broke out that we lose not 1, not 2, but 3 of our crucial midfielders in, you know, Captain John McGinn, in Tielemans and Kamara. And Kamara, the news come out of he'll be out for the rest of the season. So it was just like, from those highs, it's like, uh-oh, what do we do now? What's going to happen? And 2026, I remember that, you know, we started January with another convincing win against Forest at home. We looked pretty decent. But after that, we started to show our displays of how we performed start of the season. We started to lose games. We started to show that kind of disbelief. And, you know, going to games, home games, in my case, it was, it started to look doom and gloom, and, you know, finishing in that top 4 to look like a mission impossible. But with the inconsistencies that we had from 2026, from the start, we still started to show some kind of resilience in the background. You know, we started to pick the odd win here and there. It turned out to be pivotal. It really did, because those points, it kept us afloat. Yes, we stayed third for a large part of the season, but once we got to third and we gained that kind of points gap, we didn't really fall out of the top 5 bracket. Surprisingly, you know, with all the defeats that we've faced along the way. You know, we this season we've picked up some big wins. Big wins like away. What comes to mind is that win away at Newcastle at St. James Park. We rarely win there. You know, we kept on winning in Europa. Our record in Europa, I think, throughout from the start to the end, all in all, I think we only lost 2 games from memory, I think. But yeah, anyway, we get to, you know, the big final weeks of the season, and we were in a position of like, we didn't want to leave it till the last day, you know, going to Man City. and having to pick up points because, again, our record at Etihad is terrible. So it was like, can we get a result against Spurs? That was the game that we were all looking at. But Emery decided to play like a second string team, and it resulted in a defeat. So there we were thinking, we're leaving it to the Liverpool game, which, again, our record, home or away against Liverpool, it's poor. We don't win. We don't pick up the 3 points. So we're thinking, damn, this looks like, that top 3 where we were to 4th to 5th, we can possibly end up finishing 6th. And if we don't win the Europa, is that dream, that dream of Champions League football, are we going to kiss it goodbye, considering how close we are? But then came that Liverpool game. At home. This was just after the Forest game. And, I'm a bit sad about it because I missed, that semi-final second leg because I was in Vegas for my nephew's stag do. But I came back for the Liverpool game. And so we already secured our place in the final as we already played Forest in that second leg, beating them 4-0. And then we had a game away at Burnley. It wasn't the best of performances. And we picked up, the good thing is we picked up a point. And then heading into this Liverpool game, it was the game just before the final. So you think, what is Emery going to do here? Is he going to rest players again? Or are we going to go all out for the win? But then does that risk it could risk any injuries, our performances for the final. But anyhow, it was a strong team. Emery, started with a strong team, and what a game. It was just high energy, all out. The midfield, from memory, I remember we really out-muscled Liverpool middle of the park. It was a midfield dominance, and not only winning the game, but scoring 4 goals. People can say how poor and a bad of a season it's been for Liverpool, but at the end of the day, to still score 4 goals past them and to beat them in the manner that we beat them in the circumstances we were at was absolutely fantastic. And that secured our top 5 finish. That secured our objective of Champions League. And going into the final, spirits were absolutely sky high because it's what we needed, it's what we wanted, and we got it. And now it is all attention and focus for that final, Europa League final against Freiburg. And on it come. The nerves, I didn't get to go Istanbul, but I went into, Bromtown to watch it at the Utility Arena. And again, it was maxed out, sold out arena for the game. Absolutely buzzing and fabulous atmosphere. Birmingham City Centre was fully claret and blue. And so nerves, adrenaline, you name it. Was I confident? Going by with, all the talks that we're hearing, we were favourites, and we're a stronger team, we're going to win. It was like no one was talking about Freiburg. And I was like, you can't underestimate. I was thinking to myself, we cannot underestimate this team because at the end of the day, they've made the final. It doesn't matter about the league positions and the quality of the leagues or whatever, because when it comes to one-off games, we've seen, any team can beat anyone, And the good thing from our perspective, from our point of view, and as a fan watching, Villa surely did turn up. And whether it's Emery's game plan, what Emery distilled into their brains, the mindset, the confidence, you name it. Watching early on, Freiburg had those couple of chances and you think, set pieces, they're going to cause us problems in set pieces because they had a few at the start. But relatively, I was confident. We looked confident, you can tell watching. And defensively, over the season, we've looked nervy at times and we look likely to concede in games. Whereas this one, I'm watching, I'm thinking, we do look confident at the back. We're passing it around, we're moving it around in confidence. We haven't got any signs of nerves. So I was thinking at the time, in that first half, going in at halftime 0-0 is good. Come out second half, get the goal or two and win the game. But that first goal came You know, such a good time because it was just before half time. And what a goal. I mean, it goes to show, you know, set pieces do pay off. The boys passed it, pinged it about with Rodgers with that cross, and on the volley, Tielemans, it was hit to like absolute textbook perfection. It was just one of those goals you can just watch again and again, and it just got better and better each time watching it. Absolute sublime. What a rocket. So 1-0 halftime, thinking, come on, you know, just need to get that next goal. No, I'm getting it wrong. It because I thought, yeah, 1-0 at halftime would be fantastic, but no, we got the second goal. Buendia with an absolutely scorcher of a goal. Absolute beauty on his left foot. You know, that, I mean, I can imagine what Istanbul inside the stadium, what it must have been like, but inside the utility arena, it just blew. We lost our heads. I mean, what a goal. You're in the final, 2-0, half time. The saying is 2-0 is, you know, a bit of a shaky scoreline because all it takes is that one goal for the opposition to get and they can come back. So we knew the next goal would be absolutely imperative. You know, whoever gets that next goal is going to decide which way this final could go. And luckily for us, Morgan Rodgers, near post, got his foot out, bang, 3-0. And we can pretty much say at that point, it was game, set and match. Absolute confidence. We were really good. And to produce such a showing in a final for us, it's massive. And to add that as an experience for the team going forward, to produce such a display, it's all as supporting fans we could ask for. But for them going forward, to add on their experiences, it's only going to put them in, you know, a good place. So yeah, I mean, you know, the first silverware. I mean, I remember being in school when the likes of Andy Townsend, Ian Taylor, Savo, Dwight York lifted that League Cup, beating Leeds in the final in '96, and a couple of seasons before that, the likes of Dalian Atkinson, Dean Saunders, Kieran Richardson, or was it Kevin Richardson? Sorry. That team lifted the League Cup, you know, before that against Manchester United. Those are the two pieces of silverware that I remember, but as a school kid. And, you know, everything from then on, it's just been a complete drought. And, you know, like, it just felt completely, like, surreal that, you know, because I got so used to, as a Villa fan, you get so used to watching other teams in finals and lifting trophies, and to witness the team that you supported since childhood. And here they are lifting this major European trophy in the manner that they have. Oh, it was absolute bliss. It really is dreams coming true. The reality of it took... I still probably haven't come to terms with it. And then it was such a quick turnaround because the club released news of the parade taking place the next day, where we were all anticipating it to take place today, being the bank holiday Monday. But due to, you know, whatever reasons, they included all the information as to why the parade couldn't take place today, being the bank holiday Monday. And literally, it was less than 24 hours notice with the final taking place on the Wednesday and parade taking place the next day on the Thursday. And again, Bromtown, it was completely rammed out in claret and blue. What a sight. What a sight to see. And to see that, you know, I mean, we all know how big of a fan base Aston Villa has. But to see people come together in such a short notice during school term time, so it wasn't even school holidays, and during work time, oh, it was amazing. And what a parade at Centenary Square. That's where I located myself. And once the Villa boys came on their bus, and just to hear the antics with the speeches, it was absolutely top class, it really was. And again, it just adds on to the dream, like, what have we witnessed as Villa fans? Absolutely amazing. What a season. And it doesn't even stop there, because my personal highlight has to be the Carlsberg competition, which not only gave me an opportunity to get a tour of Villa Park, but we were then chauffeured across to Bodymore Heath, got a tour in and around Bodymore Heath, to know the ins and outs. And it didn't stop there. We got to watch the players train on the pitch, and then also get a meet and greet as they finished their training, shaking hands with the vast majority of the players. And, a day later, to see my picture on Unai Emery's Instagram story. Oh my days. I was like, this cannot get any better. I can't cope. And on the day after that, it didn't stop there, because our contact at Villa, who set everything up, she then held us back, and we were given the opportunity for a Q&A, an informal Q&A with Leon Bailey. I mean, he's such a top guy. But, socially, I got to chat with him, asking the questions that we kind of set up in place. And not only that, I got to chat with Lee Hendry, and I was like chatting with the lads, and looking back, it's just like so like surreal that I got to like experience such a day, because these things are not normal and they're so unique, and it will definitely be a memory that will long live with me for eternity and beyond. And to be fair, this season itself will be one of those as well. Switching over to other clubs, come the end of the season, the Premier League table, hats off to Arsenal, I have to say, with all the banter that's followed them, the whole, bottle jobs, bottling it again, you name it. They still stayed true amongst themselves inside their camp and got it over the line. So yeah, fair play to Arsenal. They got it done. And not only they've not only Premier League champions, they could potentially win the Champions League. I mean, if they beat PSG, that would be absolutely massive. Massive, not only for the fact that, they've beaten such a team in PSG, but to win the Champions League for the first time in their history, it will be a magical moment for Arsenal. And shout outs to other teams. Sunderland. People can talk about like how much teams have spent, but at the end of the day, you got to spend smart, and they have. I mean, where did they finish? 7th, something. They've got into is it a Europa League or conference spot? They've made it into Europe, and that is their first season back in the Premier League. Our first season, we just about scraped survival, so that's massive. Another shout out going to Bournemouth. First time in their history they've made it into Europe. Could have been Champions League, but I'm great that we finished in the top 4. But either way, they've made it in Europe. And a shout out again to Leeds, another promoted side who have secured survival again, not scraped it. They've comfortably scraped survival, and it goes to show now that the Premier League, people might talk about this season not being great, and a lack of, the big six have shown a lack of consistency. But it goes to show how competitive and strong the Premier League has become across the board, from teams finishing, up top to the bottom. Because, the promoted sides have already shown that they're buying players smartly at the required level to have what it takes to survive in this league. And that's 2 out of 3 this season promoted sides that have survived. So, I mean, if this season has been as demanding as it has, I can only imagine what it's going to be like next season. But you know what? On that note, bring it on, because I am so excited for next season. It's, this season has been so surreal, so magical, and it just goes to show hard work. It really does pay off. and the journey, the roller coaster journey this team, the Villa have had from the start to the middle point, and then suffering with the injuries, but not using it as an excuse, still showing that resilience and grinding out results where needed, and continuing the journey, continuing the fight, continuing the belief. And they got there in the end. Not only did we finish in the top 4 and getting ourselves a Champions League spot, but we also won the Europa League, bringing a major European trophy to this formidable club. It's been an absolute fabulously superb season. Villa fans, enjoy it. It's going to be a cracking summer. Roll on the World Cup. Good luck to all the Villa boys representing their nations in the World Cup. And bring on the new season, bring on the transfer window, bring on the summer transfer window. I hope Villa have a great transfer window. Hopefully we keep our boys as well. But whatever will happen will happen. But fingers crossed, we'll just prepared fully and best as possible to start next season. So hopefully we can add some special signings to equip ourselves for the season ahead. And on that note, roll on the new season. Looking really forward to it. It really has been a special season for us Villa fans. Magical one. And hopefully it's the start to special times ahead, because it's all about believing. And we will now believe more so than ever before. Why not achieve the next milestone? From finishing in that top 4 bracket, let's push on to be title contenders. Why not, eh? Why not? We've got it in us. We've got the best in the business in our Emery. We can do it. And not only from winning the Europa League, why not dream bigger? Why not get that big ears trophy? Why not compete and become contenders for that Champions League? We're in it. Come on, the Villa. Up the Villa. Let's go.